You're watching the CW11 News at 10.
It is brutal, explosive, some might even say sadistic, but mixed martial arts, especially the Ultimate Fighting Championship, is catching on quickly here in the States. In tonight's Fact Finders report, Peter Thorne takes an in-depth look at the sport that's poised to rule the airwaves.
It's marketed as the fastest growing sport in America, and the pay-per-view numbers are astronomical. In other words, it is a super hit, surging in popularity among fans who find boxing, well, boring. So how did Ultimate Fighting remake itself from flop to phenomenon? Credit loyal fans and a willingness to remake the rules. Even if you live under a rock or in a rock, chances are you've heard of the UFC, Ultimate Fighting Championship. An eye-popping mix of martial arts, boxing, and wrestling. Fans call it MMA, or mixed martial arts.
Let's take a look at the replay. Bang!
But it almost never happened. A decade ago, when the UFC started, its audience was small, mainly die-hard fans who exchanged VHS tapes, partly because, at the same time, UFC was fighting Capitol Hill, and politicians trying to pull the plug.
They were lobbying cable stations and cable networks not to broadcast MMA.
That was 1995, with Senator John McCain leading the charge. The current presidential candidate was successful in over half of the country, getting UFC thrown off the tube. Flash forward to now, Ultimate Fighting, back with a bang. Promoters consistently call it the fastest growing sport in the United States, a sport they think is poised to give boxing a knockout blow. "22 states now allow mixed martial arts fights. So far, not New York, but definitely New Jersey, where Fact Finders got invited to this throwdown showdown. Fact Finders got exclusive ringside access to this MMA fight at the Tropicana Hotel in Atlantic City. Championship night for the long-running Ring of Combat. We can't tell you who won or lost because this pay-per-view fight is likely to make millions and will not air until June. What we can tell you is that, judging from the enthusiasm at this packed arena, mixed martial arts is thriving right here in the tri-state area.
We came this far! Bring it home! Bring it home, baby!
They say this is the fastest growing sport in the country. Do you believe it?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Why is it catching on so big now?
Because it's finally becoming known that it's not a barbaric thing, that it's a real sport. Any one of these guys trains just as hard as any professional boxer.
A big night for these MMA fighters, primed, prepped, and fixing to win. But it's an equally big night for Ring of Combat's real top dog, the man holding the championship belt. For promoter Lou Neglia, tonight is a coming of age at long last. Lou's been in the fight game for years, first in the ring as a kickboxing champion. Now is the man overjoyed to see mixed martial arts finally becoming a huge fan favorite.
I hope you enjoyed the show, and let's hear from these talented MMA fighters. Thank you.
It's the most exciting competitive sport, and the athletes and sportsmen in the sport are the best conditioned athletes in the world.
Well, it's the sport of, the next generation. It is, the next level in combative sports, and there's a mass appeal.
You want to talk about popularity? It's real easy to see. These fights are super popular. This place is packed. The energy is jumping. The folks in here paying anywhere from $50 to $150 for a ticket. We talked to fighter Jake Coleman 60 minutes before he walked into the ring for the fight of his life. So, you're the main event tonight. What's going through your mind right now?
Just relax and get mentally focused.
No butterflies?
No, it's my 10th fight, so, those usually go away.
But not everybody loves MMA. Ironically, people like fighter Oscar De La Hoya, who's made a career out of throwing body blows, calls this kind of extreme fighting just a bit much, saying, quote, "It's just too violent, with all the punching and kicking on the ground." Others, including University of Florida sports ethics professor Gordon Marino, told Fact Finders by phone,
"Our appetite for depictions of violence in this country seems to be pretty extraordinary. And my concern is, does that harden people after a while, make them less compassionate, less able to empathize with the pain of others? It is part and parcel of a certain coarsening of our society." We saw this fully loaded medical stretcher standing by ringside, ready and waiting. But it's never been used. And fans say that's because no way is MMA too violent, pointing out there's a ref always watching and fighters can tap out to end the fight whenever they want. MMA fans cite recent studies deeming Ultimate Fighting is safer than boxing and at least no more dangerous than hockey.
Wow.
or football.
And a crunching hit put on by Sheldon Brown.
In any case, once a no-rule street fighting sport, MMA has revamped its rules and is now highly regulated.
We put together a whole new Bible of rules and regulations. We completely refined the sport, and we hit a home run.
What can a fighter not do in the ring?
Well, a fighter can't bite, eye gouge, attack the groin. A fighter can't spike another fighter on his head. You can't kick a downed opponent in the head. About the only thing traditional about this surging new sport, standing for the national anthem at the beginning. Then it's on with the fight at a speed that makes video games look slow and could make a new generation of sports fans forget all about boxing. Delivering record TV ratings and packing fans into sold-out venues, mixed martial arts has arrived. Now promoter Lou Neglia says he's searching for this sport's version of Rocky Balboa. And if he finds that fighter, it could really put boxing on the ropes.